Hey friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got another pattern paper mixing video holiday edition. So this is actually a two-part video, but you can watch them in any order. I just had too many pads to go through in one video. So we actually did 3 of the paper pads in last week's video, and then I'm going to go through the other 3 today, and I'll basically be showing you what drew me to these pattern paper pads, what prints I think work well together and why, and what prints I think don't work well together and why. You guys have really been enjoying this series, so I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy this one as well. So the 3 that we're going through today are the ACOT Winterland, which is not holiday, but it is a winter theme. So I'm including it because sometimes in my holiday card series, I like to have some winter cards, just in case there's anybody who maybe doesn't celebrate Christmas, or if you just want to extend your paper pad beyond the holiday season. So that's a great one for that. And then I have 2 from Simple Stories. These are 6x8 pads. I have the Holiday Life and Boho Christmas. So we're going to go through all of those. The 3 that we did in the previous video are the die cuts with a view down the chimney, the ACOT Christmas Time, and the Cartabella Christmas Flora Peaceful. So there were actually a couple different Christmas floras that came out. This is just one of them. I think there were 3 different kinds. So we already went through those. So if you missed that video, you can go back and watch it after this one. Like I said, there's no particular order. I just had to divide it up, you know, for time's sake. So let's start with this one here, the ACOT Winterland. What drew me to this pad was the really beautiful color palette. I just thought it was so peaceful and serene. And yes, you can use it for the holidays, but I think it's so lovely for that transition time right after Christmas, you know, going from New Year's all the way up into Valentine's Day. And honestly, you could probably even use some of this for Valentine's Day because of the pinks in there. But that time of year between Christmas and Valentine's Day is always a tricky time for card making, at least in my opinion, because you really don't know what kind of cards to make. But that's a great time to do like thinking of you cards, sending hugs, sympathy cards, anything to kind of just build up your stash at the beginning of the year for those occasions when you need a quick card for maybe a more heartfelt situation, and you know, in the moment maybe it's difficult to make a card like that, so having a few built up in your stash is great. And I find that time of a year a great time to kind of create those cards in that kind of reflective period, you know. Anyway, I'm going to zoom in and let's go through this one. All right, so that should be good. So you should be able to see the patterns a little bit closer. So we've got these really beautiful blush pinks. We've got kind of like a sage green gray, the navy, and then the white are going to be the predominant colors. So first off, we have a snowflake print. I mentioned this in my last video, but I love these for quick and easy backgrounds. They are fabulous for that. You put a little snowdrift on there, and then you have already got a background for your colored images, and then you can layer up that focal panel on some other prints, some mixing and matching. But it saves you so much time to have a print like this. You don't have to bring out your inks. You don't have to bring out your markers for the coloring of the background, you know, just your images. And I just think they are lovely for that. And especially at that time of the year, you know, during the holidays and even after the holidays when you might be experiencing a little bit of burnout and you want to create cards, but you don't want to take forever doing it. These are fabulous. All right. On the back, we have a white fleck on pink, and this reminds me so much of snowfall. So again, this could be a really quick and easy background. Add your snowdrifts and a few little images there, and you're good to go. So beautiful print. It's also great for mixing because it's a very small print, very delicate, and it's going to go with a lot of different things. So then we have a few cut aparts, which I never use, but if you're somebody who junk journals or does like a December daily, or I don't know if there's like a January daily, like a New Year daily, but if you did, you could always use something like that. Or you can just make them as cards, you know. This piece right here, I mean, you could make that a focal panel right there. Cut that out, add an image right here, maybe a little sentiment strip to the side, and you've got a focal panel done. So easy. The snowmen you could also cut down and use in a strip. Then we've got a Christmas tree. It's that sagey green gray. I'm really not sure what it is. It's kind of, maybe it is more in the gray family, but it's definitely got just like a slight greenish cast to it. Very, very pretty. That's another one that I can see layering on a bunch of stuff. And then we have some gorgeous little polar bears. You guys know polar bears are one of my top favorite animals. It's red squirrels, polar bears, and elephants are my top three. And so I'm loving this. Really, really cute. I can't wait to pull out my polar bear stamps and try to mix something with that. This one would go really well. You could add the trees because they are more subtle and this is a lot more bold and colorful. So you could add that. But what I really love with that would be the pink. I think the pink with the polar bears would be really, really lovely. And even the, maybe not the snowflakes. That's a little too busy to me for those polar bears. But the pink for sure is a great match. And then we've got more snowflakes. So excited about this. I haven't really looked through these paper pads yet. I just opened them up and, you know, got them ready for filming, but I haven't flipped through them too much yet. So I'm very excited to see these because, like I said, more quick and easy cards. You can even do like a couple cards at once from a paper pad like this with these prints. So you could do maybe cut this into two panels and you could do 4 cards at once using these backgrounds. So you just have a slight variation, but you could use a similar design to make it really quick and easy. And these are going to layer beautifully with a bunch of stuff. We've got a beautiful plaid. That actually would work really well with the polar bears and that pink snow print. That could be really nice together on a card. Okay, so now we've got some different winter icons. There's some trees, some foliage, snowflakes, mittens. So this is going to be a print that I would use to kind of pull my color palette together and layer stuff on top of. So you could layer that with the plaid. Maybe not so much the snowflakes unless you separated it out a bit, like maybe this is the focal panel and then you have a strip of maybe the navy in between or something else, and then you know, and then this in the background. That could work. I just wouldn't layer them like right on top of each other just because they're both quite busy and the prints are very similar in size. But you could use the pink little speckle again. That would work well. And then we have a beautiful floral print. Really nice. Gives me those January vibes, those icy winter vibes. The larger ones here, they kind of remind me of a poinsettia. And then we have like a softer rounded petal floral in there as well. Again, that's going to mix really well with the plaid. Or I wouldn't do the trees. I think that's a little bit busy, but the pink speckle is going to work well with that as well. Or this one. This one would work really beautifully. We've got a pink with a little triangle in stripes. Very graphic. That's kind of nice to mix up with something floral, to have a bit of a softer print with something that's a little bit more graphic. So I can definitely see using those together. Or we have these trees here. That would look really nice with this one layered on top. I think that one also goes really well with the plaid. I'm really liking this pad so far. There's a lot of mixable prints in here. And then we've got this kind of sagey green print with little pine boughs on it. That could also go with a lot of things. Maybe not this one. I just feel like maybe they're a little bit too busy together, but something else. Not the polar bears. Maybe the floral. I think that could be nice together with maybe a little bit of the pink in between. That might be nice. That could work. We've got more of these little cut aparts that you could use if you want to for quick and easy focal panels or whatever. And then here we've got another really beautiful floral. This one is quite busy, but you can temper it down with one of the softer muted patterns. So that one could work with this one just because this one has so much going on, and with that dark background, it really pushes the tight small print kind of in the background. It kind of makes that fade back a bit because there's so much going on here. That one could also work with the triangles, but for some reason that stands out a little bit more to me, the white on the pink. So maybe I would do something like the pink. I think that's very pretty together. That could work really nicely. You could mix that plaid in there as well. That could be something together, those three prints together. I definitely need to make a card with this one because I love it. And then we've got this adorable snowman print and these little stripes of snowmen. Very, very cute. This would make a great winter card. This one I would probably layer with maybe the plaid again. Something a little more subtle. I wouldn't do the pink. That's too much of the pink, I feel like. Well, the plaid right now is the best. We'll see if there's anything else in here, but right now I would go with the plaid for the snowmen. Oh, okay. Well, we've got some more plaids on the back. We've got just a soft light gray and white. That one looks really nice, and that would work really well with the snowman. That's very cozy. I would maybe just put a little strip of something in between, even just plain white cardstock, maybe like a little scallop or something, kind of resemble those snowy mounds. I think that could be really lovely together. I don't know if I would mix it as much with this plaid. I feel like they're a little bit competitive. I like the softer print better, but you could make that work depending what you put it with. But I would prefer the softer one. This one though, I think I would like with that floral. That floral I think could be really pretty with that plaid. Maybe something else in the mix as well. Maybe like a pink. Oh, wow. Look at that for a stunning background. I mean, it's not that you have to use these for backgrounds. You could use them for layering as well, but what a beautiful background that is. I just love that. I can just imagine like a larger image, like maybe a large polar bear or something, just, you know, on a snowdrift with a sentiment, taking up, you know, that background and having that be your focal panel. I mean, it just really catches the eye, even though it's so subtle. The large print is just really eye-catching, but the mutedness of it is going to still allow your focal images to stand out, especially if they're on a larger scale. I probably wouldn't put something super tiny against it, but, you know, a nice big stamped image on that would be really lovely. There's some more little cut aparts. Ooh. All right, so we've got a tone-on-tone snowflake with the navy. That one you still could use as a background for like a night sky, like a focal panel, but I think that one could be really nice mixed in. That plaid would be a really pretty mix for it. Maybe even this next one, the penguins with the snowflake and the plaid. That looks really cozy together. I really like that. It could also go with the polar bears from the beginning. I think that could be nice too. Okay, we've got one of those gray-green prints that just has little scallops. And depending which way you place them, like if you put it this way, it's more like little hills. So that's kind of interesting. That's a really muted print that would work well with some different things. You could maybe mix it with the florals. It would go well with the Christmas trees. That could work nicely together. maybe even the polar bears, but maybe not on their own, just because the background of this one is so similar in tone to the background of this one. It's not the same, but there's not enough of a separation of color to me. So maybe if you put something completely different in between, like a pink, or I would probably do the pink. You could do navy, but then I feel like it's just kind of muting down all the colors. So I would want something that kind of livens up that color combo. And then this pad is going to repeat, so you get 2 of each one. So there was that one, the ACOT Winterland. So next up we have the Simple Stories, The Holiday Life. And what I really like about this one is it's just very traditional. So we've got the red and the green, but it's got just the slightest twist to it, with the green being this warm olive tone. And then we've got some craft mixed in there as well. It just reminds me of like brown paper packages tied up with strings, and just that craft kind of farmhouse country Christmas. So that's why I went with this one. So let's go ahead and flip through that. The thing with the Simple Story is that you often get these large prints that you could frame or use as decor in your home. But I usually just use the back side, which is, you know, the great thing about having double-sided paper, because I'm not wasting this whole sheet. I can use this print on the back with the little houses. So we've got rows of houses in red and green. Very cute, very usable. We'll see what we can mix that with. And then on the next page, we've got kind of like a gift wrap theme going on, which I love because I'm all about gift wrap. I love wrapping presents at the holidays. I make a whole event out of it. I talked about it in the haul video that I did when I showed you guys these pads initially, so I won't go into that again. But so on the back of that, we've got a nice little polka dot. It's kind of reminds me of confetti because it's very scattered, and we've got a lot of colors mixed in there. It's got the olive background, and then there's a lighter green, white, red, and gold fleck in there. That one works really well with this print right here, so that would be a great match. And it could also work with the houses. There's no gold in this print, but other than that, it's a pretty close matchup. So I would probably mix it with something else as well. We'll see, but that would not be terrible. I love it with this, though. This is perfect. So then we have this kind of berry and foliage print here on the black background. That is a little too busy to mix with the house. Also, the scale of it is too much, so let's see if there's something else. You could combine these two together, but I'm hoping that there's something that would work even better for this, because I really do love this print. Okay, on the back we've got a green and white and red stripe that reminds me of linen dishcloths. There was another pad in the last video that I did that also had a lot of this print, so this must be trending right now to have this kind of dishcloth-like vibe, and I'm here for it. I like it. That would work well together. And that one could actually go really well with the houses, although I would make sure to run the stripes this way as they are. I wouldn't want the stripes and the houses to be going in the same direction. I would want to break up that visual line by making sure that the stripes, you know, run opposite. So if your card, obviously this is sideways, but if the card, you know, went this way, I would want my stripes to run up and down on the card, you know, since we can't change the version of the houses, or your houses would be on their sides. Then we've got this really lovely print, which again, you could kind of color that in and frame it or something, but I would just use the B side, which has the red and white check. It's almost like a pink check in there because it's so tone on tone. And that could work well with, let's see, that could go with the foliage. I don't feel like the reds are the right shade for this. This is maybe because of the stripe. It's just a little too pink, and this is more of an orangey red for me. Maybe with the houses, I don't know. It could go with this print as well, with the holly and the mistletoe. This is nice. Okay, so we've got a tone-on-tone leaf print. This is going to go with a lot of things because it's very subtle. So this is a print that you could definitely use when you're mixing 2 or 3 or 4 patterns together. It works great with the plaid here. Imagine even like these 3 together on a page and maybe even a little bit of that mixed in. Maybe not though, because this contrasts with the plaid too much. It's too much of the same. So maybe not that, but maybe a different red if we can find one would work well together. So the plaid, okay, we've got a nice bold little red foliage. That would be really pretty with the plaid. I probably wouldn't mix these 2 together though, just because this one kind of stands out and they're competing a bit. But maybe there will be something else. Okay, so this damask print, I think I'm saying that right. I never know if it's damask or damask, I don't know, but I say damask. So these actually would work well together. If I were using 4 prints on a page, I could do the berries and then this muted olive and the plaid and a little bit of this. I would only use a little bit of one of these, but that would be a nice one where you're mixing 4 different tones on a card. And this one also goes really well with this small floral. I think that's a great match together. And then we've got another one of these prints. It's a little bit smaller scale and then a little bit more muted just because the white doesn't stand out as much on that light green as it does on the red, but that could work well with, let's see. Well, it goes really well with the stripe. But it's not enough of a draw to the eye to me. I would want something a little bit bolder. So maybe this with the houses and the stripe, that could work really nicely together. Where was that? Imagine like that. That could be really nice. And maybe even a touch of that red in there. Very nice. So we've got another one of these prints that you can trim apart if you want, or frame or whatever. I would probably just cut the strips off and use them because I like the scale. I believe it's a larger scale. Yeah, it's similar to this, a slightly different green, but larger scale, so you could definitely use the strips of that somewhere. Or we've got this lovely snowflake, which again I could use as a background, but you could mix and match with some other things as well. That could be nice together. Even, not that red, but even something like that, or maybe that plaid in the mix with the snowflake, that could work. And then we've got this candy cane background that I think is so lovely. That works really well with the snowflake too, but with something else maybe mixed in. Maybe the red damask again, or the plaid. The plaid works really well with this candy cane print. And on the back we've got a very subtle pale olive diagonal stripe. Very, very subtle. So that works well with a lot of things too. You could mix and match that with a bunch of these other prints. That kind of print is super easy to use because it's so light. It's almost like just barely there, you know. So on the back of this cut apart one, we've got another plaid. This one is really nice. This reminds me of like a men's dress shirt. That one could work well with the candy canes, maybe with a little green mixed in or something. I wouldn't put it with that one. We would want something that has a bit of gold in it. Do we have anything like that yet? Could work with the polka dot. Oh, it could go well with this one. Maybe with something in between to kind of just let them have a little bit of breathing room. And then we've got this black and white little print with the birds. That's very sweet. This one is very visual, so I would probably mix it with something that was very soft. Maybe that really barely there green. Not the snowflakes, because the white and the creamy shades are too close together that it's kind of jarring to the eye to me. You want more contrast or the same color, but not close. Maybe with the damask. I don't really love that though. Maybe with the red plaid, that wouldn't be terrible. Maybe like a little strip of black cardstock in between, just to tie it together a little bit more, since this doesn't have any black or white in it. I mean, it has the stripes, but they're almost pink to me. So, and then this pad is going to repeat. So there was that one. Lots of good mixing possibilities in that. And then the last one that we have is the Boho Christmas, also by Simple Stories. And again, what drew me to this one was very similar to this one in that it has those traditional colors. This one has more of like a traditional green rather than the olive, although it does have some of the lighter olive mixed in, but it's a little bit of a cooler tone than this olive, and it's got the craft. But I just really loved the pink in this mix. I thought that was really different and cool. And I bought this one, and then I almost didn't buy this one. This one was in a separate order. I almost didn't buy this one because it was so similar in tone to this one. But then once I got it, I was glad that I ended up getting both of them, because there's just enough of a difference that it still really is compelling to me. And I also really like that that one had more like of the country Christmas icons, where this one is a bit more like florals and I don't know, it's just a little bit more whimsical with the Santa faces and the wording and all of that. So let's go ahead and dive into this one. So we've got another one of these big prints that I wouldn't use, but on the back we've got a nice little hollyberry print. That's going to be good to mix with things. And then we have some gift boxes. So you can maybe add the plaid that's on the back. This soft warm olive plaid is going to go with a lot of things. You can already see like it goes really well with the poinsettia print there. It goes well with the gifts. It even goes well with this one. I wouldn't necessarily use this and this and this together. Not at all. Maybe these two, if this one were, I don't know. To me, it's still a bit too competitive. If this were shrunk down even smaller, maybe, but I don't know. It's a little bit too, nearly the same size as some of the decorations on the gift, so I think that's what's putting me off of it. But I'm very excited about this one because this is going to do a great job mixing with a lot of things. So then we've got that poinsettia. And on the back, we've got a red and white scattered dot, which almost looks like snowfall. You could use that as a background if you wanted a nice red sky for something different. These three would work well together. I don't know if I would put that together. The reds seem a little bit far apart, but you could use these together, but maybe have something a little bit separating the two. So now we've got another poinsettia print just shrunk down. That could go with the red polka dot. It's not a perfect match to me, but depending how you use it, couldn't be bad. But again, we've got this that matches beautifully with the gingham. Then we've got some Christmas trees. That one has a really nice plaid on the back that goes well with it. It also goes well with the poinsettias. You could mix it with the larger poinsettia. In fact, I almost like it better together than this one because it really brings out the darker green in here as well. And this one only brings out the background and the lighter leaves. That could even work together if you had something separating them, because some of the gifts have this exact print on them. So that would work, and you could even mix these two together. But I would want like something red in the mix to make it pop. It also goes real well with these little Santas. You could use those together, or you could use the plaid that's on the back. So this plaid is a little bit of a brighter red. I don't think it necessarily goes with those poinsettias the best, but let's see, maybe the, oh yeah, this one works better because we've got the dark and the lighter red. So that one would work well. The gifts also have this print, so you could use it with that. And I like this one together as well because we've got the red from berries and the lighter green from the leaves, so those could work. This one I would maybe cut apart and use the top and bottom. And then we've got a nice polka dot on the back. What could we use that with? The Christmas trees, because we would want something that maybe has some pink in it. The other colors are in most of the paper pads, but the pink only appears some of the time. But I would want to draw attention to that because I just am drawn to pink during the holidays. I think it's just fun and different. So yeah, maybe the Christmas trees. Or the gifts. The gifts would work as well. Then we have this really bold graphic Mary print. This one is a little bit trickier to use. If I did use it, I would probably only use a small amount, or I would use it in the background and push it back by adding like a big piece of something over top of it, just because I think it would compete with your images quite a bit. So probably I would use the B side, which has this, it almost reminds me of pom-poms. It's like little splatters. And that one should probably work well with, they're a little bit big for the Christmas trees. If I use these together, I would definitely want something wider separating them out together. And not the dots. I wouldn't use the 2 dots together with that. Something else. Let's see. You could maybe use it with the gifts as well, but again, I would have something wider separating the 2 of those. This is kind of pretty, but I don't know what I would use it for. Unless you cut out some of the gifts and kind of stack them up to use them as your focal image. And that way you wouldn't have to do any coloring, and you could even like die cut or trim out the sentiment and use that as well. But on the back we've got this really pale tone-on-tone Christmas tree on the pink. That's really pretty. It goes really nicely with this other poinsettia print that has the pink in it, but it's going to go good with, like I wouldn't use just these 2 alone, but you could maybe even use these 3 together. I don't know. I'm not crazy about this one with the poinsettias, but maybe. But that pink would probably work well with the Santa since he has a little pink face. I wouldn't do the Christmas trees with the Christmas trees. To me, that's too much of the same. But maybe with the gifts. But I really like these 2 together, so far the best. And then we've got these lovely stripes of foliage with the pink berries. That one would go well with the Christmas trees. We've got some cut aparts. And then we've got this fa la la. To me, this one is not nearly as hard to use as the Mary. Maybe just because of the red surrounding the letters, it makes it so graphic. This one I think could be layered really easily with some different things. This one would maybe work with like the gifts. I think that could work well together with something else, like not just the 2 of those together, because then it's too much of the same colors. We want something that's giving the eye a rest. So something like maybe the, like one of the plaids or something could work together with that. And then we have more cut aparts, and then we have a craft polka dot. Again, this could just be your background. It could be snowfall, or you could mix it with, if you went with that idea of the gifts, you could use it with that. I probably wouldn't mix it with that just because it's all the dots, Maybe with the Christmas trees though, because we've got some craft Christmas trees in the mix, so that could work nicely there. And then this pad is going to repeat, so that was all 3 of them. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. I've been really loving doing these because I love to share my tips with you guys. Just because I love pattern paper so much, and I always get so excited when I see other people using it too. I just want to spread the love of pattern paper. It just adds so much to a card, in my opinion. So if you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. If you guys really want to see more of these, maybe I'll start to think of doing one for Valentine's Day next. I usually only do like 1 or 2 pads for Valentine's Day just because I don't make as many Valentine cards. But if you're interested in that, I'd be happy to share it with you, but that probably wouldn't be until the new year. But I am ramping up my holiday card series. We are full steam ahead on that, probably through all the way till Christmas. So if you're interested in more holiday content, definitely make sure that you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on so you'll be alerted whenever a new video goes live. And I'm trying to post some extra bonus videos definitely this month and maybe in December as well. Also, if you missed it, I just shared my craft room tour after 8 years of living here. I did an update and kind of shared what was still the same and what I've changed over the years to make work better for me. So if you're interested in seeing my entire crafty space and where I work, that video is up now as well. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and being here with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an amazing day. All right, bye-bye.